I'd like to talk to you about the Orphan Grain Train. And I'd like to open with a quote or a verse from the Bible, from John chapter 14, verse 18. I will not leave you as orphans, I will come to you. It's used as the motto of Orphan Grain Train, but in light of the fact that we're in the middle of Lent, and this is Easter, coming up just right around the corner, the context of that statement is very important because it was taken at a time, or said at a time, when Jesus was preparing his disciples for the fact that he was going to be leaving this earthly world. And what he was saying was, I won't leave you alone or by yourself. I will have the Holy Spirit with you, walking with you, and in your heart and in your soul. And that's important for us on several levels, and I'd like to tie the two together as I'm talking about the Orphan Grain Train. The mission statement of the Orphan Grain Train is this: in loving response to Christ, the servant, the Orphan Grain Train movement encourages and enables God's people to share personal and material resources in bringing Christ's name and character to needy people both far and near. Sometimes that character expresses itself as a word well spoken, sometimes as a bandage well applied, and sometimes as a child well fed. The Orphan Grain Train is, in the IRS parlance, a 501c3 nonprofit. It was founded in Norfolk, Nebraska in 1992, 29 years ago, by a Lutheran Missouri Synod pastor, Pastor Ray Wilkie, and the president of a worldwide transportation company, Mr. Clayton Andrews. It got started after the two had taken a visit to Latvia and Russia. The two saw a real need for spiritual and humanitarian aid in the Soviet Union and the former blocs thereof. Today, the headquarters is still in Norfolk, Nebraska. We have 29 regional branches, and the Nevada Sierra branch, which I'll talk about in a bit, is one of those 29. It's located, or the warehouse is located in Sparks, Nevada, but we also have a facility now, so to speak, that's housed right here at Town & Country. Orphan Grain Train, after the start in 1992, it grew to serve 90 orphanages, 3 hospitals, and 7 prisons in Russia and former Soviet republics. And since that time, it spread to the whole world. So what do I want to talk to you about? I'm coming to you to talk to you on how to engage, how to reach out and do something that will involve connecting, serving, and growing. Around stewardship time in the fall, we usually talk about the 3 T's: time, talent, and treasures. I'd like to add a 4th one to that: prayer. So if we look at all 4 of them, we're talking about prayers, your time, your talents, and your treasures. All 4 of those are critical to the mission, the ongoing mission of Orphan Grain Train. There are no paid individuals outside of the 12 people that are housed at the headquarters facility in Norfolk, Nebraska. All the 29 regional branches are volunteer staffed. You may ask, well, how well do we use the money? One of those treasures that people can give. Well, I would say that Orphan Grain Train is one of the most efficiently and efficacious nonprofits in the world. Out of every dollar spent, out of every dollar given, 98.2 cents goes towards moving food and materials and resources from point A to point B to where it's donated, to where it's to be received. That means only 1.8 cents out of every dollar goes to overhead or to fund salaries and things like that for the 12 people located in Norfolk. We are nationally ranked number 6 out of over 9,000 nonprofits worldwide by Charity Navigator, which is an evaluator for charity organizations. Number 6 out of over 9,000. In 2019 to 2020, we had 239 shipments, and these are semi-truckload shipments that went to 133 of them domestically and 106 internationally. Since our branch opened in February of 2018, and I'm talking about the Nevada Sierra branch, we've made 6 shipments. 3 went to the California wildfires, the Carr Fire and the Paradise Fire, badly needed disaster response material. The other 3 were international shipments. 2 went to the Republic of Georgia, 1 went to Moldova, and in April of this year, next month, we're going to have one that's heading towards Thoreau, New Mexico, via the Trinity Navajo First Nation Bible Church. Since the inception in 1992, Orphan Grain Train nationwide, all 29 branches combined, have sent to various places over 3,800 semi-truckloads of materials. 37 of those, 37 states received disaster response, and 69 countries received humanitarian aid. Getting back to more local, our own pastor, Baranu Didanu, has been working with Orphan Grain Train and the Ethiopian government to try to provide aid through Orphan Grain Train for the civil strife that's going on there for the people that need it in both Ethiopia, Eritrea, which borders Ethiopia, and Sudan, which also borders Ethiopia. The strife continues. Not much is heard about it, but it still is happening. Talking about treasures for a moment. I've already mentioned donations. We can always use those. For example, it takes about $11 to move from point A to point B a file box size of material. It takes $15 to ship food to supply meals for 500 people. We can use new and gently used clothing, which Town and Country does a lot of the sorting here in the Friendship Center. We can use hygiene supplies, medical supplies, we can use school supplies. Each branch, including Nevada Sierra branch, the branch that I belong to, is responsible for all of its financial expenses. Shipping costs, box, tape, equipment, trucking. Each container, each ocean-going container costs between $6,000 and $12,000 per shipment. We're responsible for local fees and licenses, rent, and utilities. And we are very fortunate, extremely fortunate, that a Lutheran family in Sparks, Nevada has donated over 6,000 square feet of their warehouse space for us to be able to use for Orphan Grain Train. Otherwise, I doubt that we would have a Nevada Sierra branch here. So more locally, I've mentioned some aspects of our local facilities and things that we do here through the Nevada Sierra. In Sparks, Nevada is where it started, where the Nevada Sierra Regional Branch did start, through Mr. Bill Heineke, who's a member of St. Luke's Lutheran Church, LCMS Church in Sparks. Here at Town and Country, we're known now as a consolidation and sorting location for the Nevada Sierra branch. And we handle the greater Sacramento area. Sparks handles the greater Reno area. Steve Mcgee, he is the current branch manager. He's a member of Trinity Lutheran, and some of you folks know him. And it would be remiss of me not to mention people here in our own church who have been movers and shakers, I call them. Vern Simonak and Luther and Londa Scove. That's how I got wrangled into Orphan Grain Train, taking loads over between here and Sparks. And now they hooked me up to be the treasurer of the group also. I would like to leave you with another example. John and Linda Rauscher, over the last year and a half, have found, purchased, and refurbished over 30 sewing machines that have since gone to places like the Republic of Georgia. And I'd like to leave you with what I started with, and that's a quote from John 14. I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. Thank you for your time. Have a good day. Get engaged. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.